Today we have a special treat. It's going to be an entire teardown to the nuts and bolts of a Honda Hobbit PA50-2, so that in hopes that it can be put back together in a way that can actually allow it to travel across the country. Well, let's tear it down, see what she's made out of, shall we? The goals for today's video are pretty simple. We're actually just going to strip this bike completely to the subframe and take everything off of it, including splitting the engine cases, tear the wheels down, everything, and then we are going to slowly build it over. So we are dealing with standard issue Honda Hobbit PA50-2, not to be confused with the first Hobbit, which is the slow one. This has the fast mode. You can tell because it's yellow. Other than that, it's just a standard issue 1979 Honda Hobbit. Nothing fancy, all stock with your standard issue Proma exhaust pipe welded together so it didn't fall apart. So we're going to start with by taking everything off the front end and throwing it all in a box and never using any of it again. We might use the handlebars over the controls, but I'm not sure yet. The hydraulic disc brakes are going to require us to use a different brake lever, which means we'll probably need a different throttle assembly, so we may only use the rear brake, but we definitely won't be using the headlight or any of the front forks. So that's all out. We will be keeping maybe the tank, maybe not, haven't decided yet, because it's not a very large tank, and if we do have to keep the tank, we're probably going to run 2 Honda 50 tanks, but that will require some frame modification, which is okay because there's going to be frame modification required to get down to the carburetor, so that's another issue we'll be dealing with. The other only parts that we're going to be keeping on this bike are going to be probably the seat up here, maybe, or we're going to replace it with something more comfortable. Have to keep the rear wheel because of Hobbit transmission. Have to keep the subframe because I'm not buying an expensive one, but we are going to reinforce it so it doesn't crack. We're going to be keeping the engine cases in the reed block, but probably not the intake. Not going to use the crank cylinder, maybe use the cylinder, not going to use the cylinder head either. The only thing we're pretty much going to use is like part of the transmission cases, subframe, rear wheel, frame, maybe the rear fender, not really a whole lot. So we're basically just going to strip everything down to about 8 different parts and then put those in a special box that we're going to keep. So this is how you strip down a bike if you intended to take it completely to the frame. So step 1. Tear everything off the front forks, which isn't that hard to do, especially since we don't plan on keeping any of this shit. So let's get set up to do that. Haha, special treat today. Everybody knows, oh man, I just broke that chair. The Hondas have some pretty interesting features, mostly due to their Honda-based nature, which their proprietary brake cables are something of most frustration. Specifically the rear, because nothing really fits it quite as well as the original, but they don't make that cable anymore. So the rear brake cable on a Hobbit is probably one of the most aggravating features of a Hobbit. Mostly because the rear brakes don't work, even though they're Lilu brand brake wheels, which just happen to do with the fact that this thing actually isn't even built in Japan, it's built in Belgium, the European market. Lots of other fun features is the carburetor is the only butterfly style carburetor that I'm aware of in the moped world. And it's also unique in Honda because I've never actually seen another Kian brand carburetor that is this butterfly style thing. So it's kind of a weird anomaly just on Hobbit. This will be Travis's family heirloom. A Honda Hobbit headlight bucket with the tab still on it. Another fun thing that all the Japanese manufacturers do is they jam all the wiring up inside the headset. All of it. And they have an obnoxious amount of wiring. Because they're Japanese and they need it. I mean, really can get away with 3 wires coming out of the stator, but not these guys. No sir. Gotta have 100. This is another thing I hate about Honda bikes is that they put all the wiring inside of the handlebars so that you can have a clean section from here to here. Just no, man, just don't do that. I cannot think of a more frustrating thing to have to try to diagnose and to put back together in original position than hundreds of wires jammed inside of the handlebars or inside the frame. The best thing, in my opinion, you can do with a Hobbit is do away with most of the Hobbit stuff and keep some of the Hobbit stuff. The frame, engine, subframe, rear wheels, all that stuff's fine. Throw away the forks, throw away the shocks. Get rid of the wiring harness, stuff like that. fix the rear brakes so you actually have functional rear brakes, which is a thing that I don't see on a lot of Hobbits. And this is one of those weird things you notice. This thing isn't fully Japanese Honda. It's actually a combination of it being built in Europe, so a lot of the hardware on this thing is a combination of 13 and 14 millimeter hardware, which is immediately frustrating. You have to switch back and forth the entire time you're working on the bike, but that's the way she is. There's not a lot of specialty tools required to get a Hobbit completely apart. There's pretty much just one specialty tool you need, and that is something I will show you in a minute. A factory Honda chain will not have a brake link in it for some goddamn reason, and I don't know why. Most of them have been replaced at this point, so that you can just put a regular bicycle chain on here, which is significantly nicer. Mostly because almost all of these things are broken, primarily because it's just probably a terrible chain tensioning system that they use. Just the worst. You've got everything completely disassembled on a Honda Hobbit. Here in a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to take this thing completely apart to the crank, because that's where we got to go with it. So, that is what we'll do next.